Hey guys, this is National Master Kevin Yang back at it with another video. And so we'll be talking about our final game with Fupalicious. So what happens here? We start off with the Nimzo Larson defense. And this is very common, just like how I say, I like to test the Owens defense. I also like to test the Nimzo Larson. So after knight c6, e3, I play bishop b5, and after bishop d6, I'm basically using this bishop's diagonal as a way to really put pressure on the center. So after queen e7, d4. Now I believe the right move here is c4. I'm not sure. I believe that's the move here, but I always play d4 for some reason. e4, I play knight fd2, but there's actually there's the move queen g5 here, and I sort of underestimate it every time. I don't know why, but yeah, d4 is not the right move. c4 is the right move, because after c4, a6, bishop takes, b takes, queen c2, yet this is the variation. But after c4, black might also play knight f6. Black might also play d takes c4, but it really depends. Right, so then let's fast forward. So d4, e4, and here I should have played knight e5. But I think after knight e5, I was concerned that after bishop takes, pawn takes, I was concerned about this. But now I just realized there's knight c3, and I have nothing to be fearful for. So after e4, knight fd2, a6, bishop e2, b5. Now, remember, queen g5 is a very important thing for black to do. So I was in trouble here if black played queen to g5. If queen to g5, I'd have to go bishop back to f1. Here's the reason why. g3, look at these squares. I mean, they are just horrendous, I would hate my position, to be honest. I mean, I would probably have to go bishop f1, g2, play h4, or play h3, and just try to survive it. Note how all my pawns are on dark squares, and that's a really bad thing, that all these light squares are so weak, right? In fact, it looks like a band-aid, or I don't know. That's interesting to note, but queen g5, g3, I mean something as simple as knight f6, something as simple as bishop g4, it's already looking like h5, h4, I mean, white's going to be very uncomfortable, and queen g5, wow. But instead, bishop e2, b5, and here I got to strike with c4. Now I felt like this a6, b5 idea, although it had good intentions in trying to occupy some space, maybe get the bishop out, maybe to get the knight this way, maybe push the pawn, I have to say it was, I don't know, the breaks of the pawns created more weakness than it did show strength. So it certainly did show a strength of I'm gaining position in space, but I felt like the idea of queen to g5, the bishop belongs here. And it's not so obvious why, but at the same time, you can see that these kingside pieces, which were once here, they've transitioned to look toward the queen side, right? And so to take advantage of that, queen g5, bishop g4, knight f6, knight g4, it would be an obliteration fest. So after bishop e2, b5, then queen g5 comes, I play g3, and at this point, you'll see that the engine isn't exactly dissatisfied. Now here's why. The reason is because there's been damage done on this diagonal. There's been damage done on this file. And I'm able to get this pressure in the center, right? So previously you saw that, okay, the bishop could roam freely to g4, the knight could come here, and if we just look back a few moves, right? If we look back here, queen to g5, the center is stable. So for example, queen to g5, g3, you try to play something like h5, and you say c4. Well, then what happens? Well, we just ignore you. We just ignore you. And if cd5, what happens? Well, we just ignore you. Now, let's try this again, right? So now h5, cd5. Now the knight has to move. And after knight takes e4, well then, after bishop f3, knight c3, white is comfortable. White is completely comfortable. So bishop h3 is a very good try to exploit the weakness, but knight c3 is not the way. C takes d5 should have been the way. I don't know why I didn't play it, but sometimes you do miss things even as a national master. So I'm just saying, everyone is prone to mistakes. So after knight c3, I just wanted to put pressure on the center, I think. Knight f6, c takes d5, knight b4, and I said, oh, thank you. I'll take those pawns. And here I was calculating queen takes d5, bishop f3, and I was looking at, okay, what if queen c4? Right? What if queen c4? Bam, bam, bishop takes a, knight d3. What do? I was thinking king d2, knight takes b2, queen b3, and I realized there was no attack, and I was good. So essentially at this point, I was okay. So especially after queen e7, I was relieved to say that I survived a very bad opening. So after bishop a3, I pin the knight to the queen and I say, if you play queen takes d5, I'm going to play queen a4. And if you play knight c6, I'm going to play f3 and say, maybe I'll play e4. And if you play bishop g2, I'm just going to say, I'm going to play e4. Queen d7, rook g1. No biggie. So, yeah, instead, bishop a3 led to knight d3, which was a blunder because of queen takes d3. And so, let us see how Fupalicious really fell here. Well, I would have to say the game was lost by this a6 b5. And I don't mean to put too much pressure on this a6 b5, but it gave me the opportunity to strike in the center. And certainly this idea of queen g5 and bishop h3 had really good intentions, but if it just came a few moves before, right? A few moves before a6 b5, so no b5, but instead go queen g5, then it would have been much better. Or if you played here, queen g5 and knight f6 and h5, then it would have been much more effective. But at this point, there was already so much pressure to crumple down the center that this light square invasion was simply ineffective, and so that gave me the win. Hope you liked it. Hope you do enjoy chess and do not feel, brutally devastated by your losses, because each loss is a growing experience. And as I've said in one of my videos, every loss builds character, and I will never forget what that chess club member told me. He told me at the San Diego Chess Club, I lost to this international master and I was so close. But he was watching the entire time and he told me, he said, every loss builds character. And then he would always tease me. He would say, "Build character." Like after even if I win, he'd be like, "You build character today." And I was like, "Yeah, I did build character." I'm gonna tell you, chess builds a lot of character, and certainly if you keep losing, please just feel free to just release your emotions and don't don't complain all over it, because I've probably had way more losses than you have had, and I'm still here, still alive, and I'm here to support you. So thank you, and I will see you soon.